What's up, everybody? Welcome to the newest episode of the Debate Mates. I know you guys are scared, thinking you're going to have to listen to me talk by myself for an hour, but don't worry, that's not the case. Today, I am joined by someone who's a little bit new to YouTube and to podcasting, so cut him some slack. I know he's very nervous to be on the show today. He is the biggest Lakers fan I know. He's my favorite Lakers fan, your favorite Lakers fan, the world's favorite Lakers fan. He is Coach Stretch. Welcome back to the show.
My God.
He's back.
Oh, yes.
Wow. How you been doing,
yeah.
Stretch?
I'm doing great, man. How you, man?
I've been good. You know?
Yeah.
Enjoying some NBA basketball. That's all we can do.
That's all we can do, man.
So Stretch coming straight here from the Debate Mates Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
Took his face off of it for a second so he could come back on a video.
That's right, baby. I'm back.
So before we start, anything you want to plug? I know you've been up to some stuff.
Yeah, man. The Number Streets podcast, man. We cover a wide range of sports, man, for adults mainly. That's pretty wild. Also, still doing Tribe Nation Basketball Academy. Boom.
Right.
www.coachstretch.com, man, for all your training needs. Still one of the best trainers in the state of Virginia.
Trained me for
That's right.
5-6 years probably a while ago.
That's right.
That's how this all started.
That's how it started.
So who knows? If you train with Stretch, maybe one day you can also start a podcast.
That's it, baby.
Don't
goals.
Don't train with Stretch to learn about basketball.
No.
Learn with him to start a YouTube show.
YouTube show.
Exactly.
That's right.
So before we get into our conversation, I'm sure Stretch is gonna have a lot of takes that he's ready to fire off because it's been a while.
Yes.
He's like a dog off the leash.
Yes,
he's gonna be going crazy.
Yes.
But before we get into that, make sure you subscribe, of course, as the sign says behind us. Hopefully it is the right way. Hopefully it's the right way.
It's the right way.
The cameras are weird. So yeah, subscribe to the Debate Mates. Follow us on Instagram at the Debate Mates. Do all the things that Stretch said. Number Streets podcast. www.coachstretch.com.
Absolutely.
And without further ado, the NBA is crazy right now.
Oh, is it?
Isn't the play-in tournament like the greatest thing that happened to the league in years?
I think so.
I
think so. Even though LeBron hated it at first.
And Luka hated it. I mean, you hate it when you got to play in it.
Yeah, you hate it when you got to play in it, but you kind of earn your way to it.
But it's almost April, and here we are starting the show talking about 12 teams, at least in the Western Conference, that still have a legitimate chance to not even make the play-in, but the playoffs.
Yeah.
So let's get started
and make a deep run.
Yeah.
A lot of these teams can make a deep run.
Let's try for the viewers at home. Let's make sense of a little bit of these standings. I have them in front of us, Western and Eastern. Are there any certain races you're looking at right now that you want to hit on first? Any predictions? Anything like that?
Well, we'll save the best for last, which is the Lakers.
Okay.
We'll go East.
Okay.
We'll go East. Shout out to Joel Embiid, the MVP of the NBA, for pushing the Philadelphia 76ers into that 2 spot. It has been an amazing run to watch them. Also, give a big shout out to the Brooklyn Nets for not falling off the cliff after they lost all their superstars, and they've been leaning on Spencer Dinwiddie and my man, Mr. Bridges. I love that
Brooklyn
guy. Brooklyn Bridges. I love that guy, man. He's
nickname.
A baller. Did they deactivate Ben Simmons? Where's Ben Simmons? Anybody know where Ben Simmons is?
It's like he's not even a part of the team anymore.
No one cares.
Yeah.
And no one cares.
And that's a good thing. Ben. Now it's like the vibes are immaculate. It doesn't even matter what Ben Simmons is up to because the other guys are out there playing every night.
That's right. Bye, Ben. Bye, Ben.
Well, they had a pretty big cushion, to be fair. They have fallen off a bit. Mikal Bridges has come back down to earth. He had a good game last night, 32, against the Cavaliers. I turned that game off. I think it was 114-110, and I was tired. I was like, it's probably over.
Yeah.
I woke up and I saw the score. Cavs had a miraculous comeback. Isaac Okoro, game-winning three-pointer to win.
They did.
It didn't really matter for them, though. They're locked into that 4 seed.
Yeah.
Really, the only series we do know for sure we're going to get is Cavaliers-Knicks. Probably starting out in Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse in Cleveland. Probably won't make any predictions for that series right now. It could still go either way. But one thing I'm interested in your take on, who's going to get that 4-5 in the West?
Man. Well, with the new injury development to playoff P, excuse me. Mr. Paul George.
Back like you never left.
Oh,
still
man.
got it.
They're going to fall a little bit. Because what happens is when you lose a guy the magnitude of playoff, Paul George, other guys have to fill that role. And so they're starting Eric Gordon.
Right.
And then, you know who else has to get more minutes? Russell Westbrook. So
Tough sledding for the Clippers, you're saying?
tough sled, man. So anytime you talk about Russell Westbrook getting more minutes, it's always scary hours. Not in a good way. It is not in a good way. So that 4-5 matchup, Phoenix Suns are definitely going to get that one. Clippers are going to fall down a little bit. What's interesting to me is that Golden State actually might bump up now because they finally decided they want to win on the road.
Well, I don't know about that. They beat the Rockets and the Mavericks.
Well, 2 is 2. 2 games in a row is 2
I'll
games
take
in a
it.
row. Okay,
I mean, to a Lakers fan, I know 2 wins seems like a lot.
Man, let's not do this.
It's too early in the episode.
It's too early in the episode. Let's not do this. But you know, you understand my pain. You understand my pain,
yeah.
YouTube world. Oh, man.
One thing I wrote down for something to cover later, but it fits in perfectly here, is the team that's going to have the best advantage going into the play-in is whichever team has the cleanest injury report, especially in the Western Conference.
Yeah.
Because Zion, he's going to be reevaluated in 2 weeks. It's like the millionth time we've seen that headline that he'll be reevaluated.
He's fat.
But Zion coming back for the last 2 games of the regular season could be the difference between them like hosting a play-in game or them completely falling out. Kyrie coming back from his toe injury could be the difference between the Mavericks, getting to that 5 seed now that Paul George is hurt, or it could be the difference between them falling out of the playoffs. Same with LeBron eventually coming back if he does.
If he does. I'm just, I'm over LeBron. I just wish we could just fast forward to the offseason where the Lakers can get off of LeBron. Just go ahead and trade him.
You've told me about this a couple of times, so I want to hear more in depth what your plan would be for the offseason.
So my plan is to first get rid of LeBron, get some picks, and start to build around this nucleus that actually seems to like each other.
Right.
We have D'Lo, Austin Reeves, because Austin Reeves got to get his money.
Yep.
You have AD. You gave up a lot to get Rui Hachimura. I don't know what you're going to do with him, but I definitely wouldn't be extending him for large dollars at all.
Right.
And then you have Vando and Malik Beasley. I like that core. And LeBron makes a ton of money. Get rid of them. Get some picks. Maybe get a player that can help. And now you got some money you can spread around.
Okay.
That will actually make the Lakers a better team.
I think for the offseason, that's a good plan. But I still do think the Lakers have a chance to make some noise in the playoffs. It is contingent upon LeBron James coming back.
What kind of noise? Like a kid screaming in the library kind of noise? Or
Well, before I get into that, let me just paint the picture for you guys.
Okay, let's paint it.
Nuggets, Grizzlies, Kings have solidified themselves 1, 2, 3 in the West.
Yep.
Probably in that order now that the Kings are 2 games back of the Grizzlies.
You're right.
From there on, though, Suns 38 and 34, Clippers 39 and 35, Warriors 38 and 36, Timberwolves 37 and 37, Mavs 36 and 37, and then at the 9 we have the Lakers 36 and 37.
Yeah.
If they string together a couple wins, Phoenix is faltering without Kevin Durant. I believe they're 1-4, 1-5 since the trade when Kevin Durant is hurt. Clippers don't have Paul George like we mentioned. Warriors have been Jekyll and Hyde all season long. Timberwolves, even though they got Cat back, Anthony Edwards has missed the last couple of games.
Yeah.
There is a window for the Lakers, but it's all contingent upon 2 things. 1, LeBron's got to come back for them to really have a chance. And 2, Anthony Davis has to start playing not heavy minutes, but back-to-backs at least. And he's got to go out there and give it his best every single night to at least give the Lakers a chance.
And he does it. And he's so inconsistent. And he's so – I was watching him when they played the Suns. And, yes, they won. They beat the Suns. But this guy shot 5 or 6 jump shots in a row against Bismack Biyombo. And I'm like, dude, you have an obvious size advantage.
Right.
I don't mind you dribbling. I don't mind you, doing your little whatever this is. But go to the rim.
Yeah.
Go to the basket.
He's afraid of getting knocked down because he might not get back up.
I just don't. I don't know. Just shoot his whole body full of cortisone and let's go to work.
Does he need the German plasma treatment?
Yeah, just go to Germany for the whole off season. Get your whole body redone. New plasma.
That might be what's needed at this point. He's very injury prone for sure. And when he's healthy and when he's locked in, he's still a top 5 player in the league, probably. I remember when we did our first ever top 25 video, I think I even had him over Steph Curry because his defense was so good that it made up for any marginal gap between their offensive games.
Yeah, he's very good.
And the Western Conference especially, maybe with the exception of the Grizzlies front line, there aren't really any front lines that can defend Anthony Davis. The Warriors are small, although I like Looney and I like Draymond Green a lot.
Destroy both of them.
Rudy Gobert is a good defender. but Anthony Davis will take him outside.
Yep.
Mavericks,
they
need a center.
Yeah.
They need a center desperately.
Yeah.
And then the Nuggets, I don't think Nikola Jokic is as bad of a defender as people say he is.
He's pretty bad.
But he's not a great one-on-one defender against Anthony Davis.
Right.
Yeah.
He's not good in space.
And then I like Sabonis. He's a good defender, but he's smaller than Anthony Davis.
Correct. And he's not good in space either.
So really, unless you're the Grizzlies, and I think the Lakers would have an advantage in most other positions because their shooting is so much better now, and the Grizzlies' front court offense isn't very good.
Correct.
That if they could get into that 7 seed, they'd still have a pretty good chance there. But anywhere else, they will have a clear advantage in the middle.
Yeah.
That's why I could see the Lakers maybe making it to the second, third round, or even contending for a championship. Though I think it's unlikely because there are a lot of things that would have to go right.
Hey, what version of LeBron are we gonna get?
Has there been a bad version ever? Like a version that's outside of the top 15 current players in the league?
Well,
I would say no. Has there been a day since LeBron has played with the Lakers that he's been outside of the top 10 even?
So here's my thing. When we saw him after the trade, where he wasn't fixated on scoring to chase, Kareem.
Right.
I think that was like one of the best versions of LeBron. But I'm going to score so much and often is not a good version for the Lakers. It alienates the other guys. The other guys just start standing and watching. And the Lakers are a team that needs movement, backdoor cuts. They need energy. Everyone needs to feel like they're important for them to be successful. So that's why I said, what version of LeBron are we going to get? We're going to get the team guy, or we're going to get the I'm the best player in the world guy. If we get the I'm the best player in the world guy, then the Lakers won't be successful at all.
I think LeBron's first nature, though, is to be the team first guy.
That's what I think. That's the version we've seen.
That's with the exception of maybe 10 games when he was almost at Kareem's record.
An exception for when he was in Cleveland that last year.
Okay, but I mean,
it
was kind of warranted then.
Yeah,
I don't think he was going to defer to Tristan Thompson. Let J.R. Smith run the offense. So I think he kind of needed to do it there. We've talked a lot about the Western Conference, so we can hit back on there in a minute.
How about Big Cat?
How about Big Cat?
Big Cat, 4 months. I made 2 free throws. Congratulations.
Free throws, two 3-pointers. This is the stuff movies are made of, he said in the post-game interview.
I don't like him.
You're airing all your grievances.
I don't like him. God, I don't like him.
I saw a lot of comments that he's the Drake of the NBA.
I can see that. I can see that.
He gives a lot of kind of corny answers.
He's
in Minnesota now, last year in the playoffs.
I'm sorry. Big Cat is a tremendous talent, but I do not like his personality. And he does horrible interviews where he changes his voice up and down octaves and starts talking like a little girl. I don't understand what he's doing. Like, what is this? Stuff movies are made of. Bro, you made 2 free throws. You made 2 free throws.
Wow, you're on fire today.
I just don't understand. I don't get it.
And I'm not even gonna get you started on Ja.
What an idiot.
That's like a whole nother series of episodes.
Yeah, what an idiot.
Stretch talking about
what
Ja.
An idiot. He's an idiot. So now nobody can have fun because y'all don't know how to act. So Grizzlies put a standard in place, a rule in place that after every road game, they're going to get dressed in the locker room and go straight to the plane. Thanks a lot, Ja. Thanks a lot.
You ruined it for everybody.
Ruined it for everybody. Now we got metal detectives. We'll be coming to the arena all over the place. What people getting patted down? What is going on? Thanks a lot, Ja. Thanks a lot.
When he plays, he's awesome though. Came back against the Rockets, came off the bench, poster dunk. I forgot that he was going to be wearing a mask. That seems like it was so long ago. So many things happened in between. But the nasal fracture, I think on my birthday, March 3rd. But like I said earlier, trying to move over to the East before Stretch decided to hate on Karl-Anthony Towns some more.
I'm sorry.
Any play-in movement you're looking at here? And my big question to you, actually, away from the play-in, is I've seen a lot of divided takes on this. I saw one today, a very good analogy from Bill Simmons, who talks about the Celtics a lot, who said the Miami Heat are like Michael Myers. You know you're going to beat them.
Yeah.
They beat them at the end of every movie, every Halloween movie. But when you beat them, you're going to be bloody, you're going to be beaten, and you're not going to want to see them again.
They take their pound of flesh.
Do you think the Heat, even though this has probably been their worst year out of the Jimmy Butler years, if you're the Sixers, if you're the Celtics,
I don't want to play them.
Okay, you don't want to play them.
I do not want to play them.
Really?
That's why the 2 seed is so important. You got to get away from Miami. You have to get away from Miami, especially both teams have injury issues. Jason Tatum's been nicked up all year.
Yeah.
Joel Embiid is we already know his injury history. James Harden has injury history. Maxey has an injury history now. They cannot afford to have an injury in that first round series. Both teams have championship aspirations. You cannot afford to be messing around with the Miami Heat and get into a physical knockdown, drag out series for 6 games because you'll never be the same moving forward after that. You just won't be the same.
You don't think there's any credence to maybe someone that would say, well, I want Philadelphia to play Miami in the first round because they're going to be ready when they have to play Boston.
Ready for what? A quick exit.
Well, it's not going to be like a warm-up series. Like it's not like the Celtics who might roll over, like let's say the Hawks win that game.
So if Philly had to play Miami, I wouldn't be as concerned. But if Boston has to play Miami,
I feel opposite about that.
Really?
I mean, I don't have any numbers to back this up, but when I think about that matchup, I just feel like historically Miami has owned Philadelphia. And maybe I'm just thinking because of that last playoff series where PJ Tucker just completely out hustled Miami.
Yeah.
I mean, out Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Granted, PJ Tucker went to Philly now. But I just feel like, I don't know, there's something about that Jimmy Butler versus Philly matchup where I get a little scared.
Now I'm with you on that. I am with you on that. That Jimmy Butler has a huge axe to grind against Philly, and for good reason. But
because he could be there instead of Tobias Harris.
I just don't understand. But I mean, I like Joel against Bam.
Yeah, I like Joel against anybody.
I do too. But against Boston, they're going to put several bodies on him. You got Rob, you got Al, you got Grant. You got several guys that could get physical with Joel.
Right.
So you don't want him to take a pounding per se before he gets there.
Yeah.
Because that next series is going to be extremely physical.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Definitely don't want to face the Heat, but I would say if the Knicks and the Heat were to match up, I would rather have the Heat than the Knicks. I think the Knicks are going to be better come playoff time than the Heat.
You think so?
I do. I'm really high on the Knicks.
You trust Julius Randle?
I trust Jalen Brunson a lot. I think Jalen Brunson is one of the main reasons that the Mavericks are struggling so much this year is the lack of a closer. Well, I mean, Luke is obviously a closer, but the lack of a consistent play every game type of guy like Brunson who can just orchestrate the offense.
I love Jalen Brunson.
And I think Miami's going to be a little bit too up and down. They're relying too much on guys that are traditional two-way meaning contract, not defense and offense, like a Gabe Vincent, a Max Strus. Although there are good players, they're not super reliable come playoff.
Yeah, what happened to that roster? Like, I thought that roster was better than what it is now. Like, what happened to those guys?
Well, Duncan Robinson just kind of fell off. He had
right, since the bubble run. Right, he's gone. Tyler Hero's been up and down, in and out the lineup. Kyle Lowry loves Dunkin' Donuts.
He's basically been a non-factor this season.
Yeah, he loves Dunkin' Donuts and Five Guys cheeseburgers.
Right,
obviously. He's made Pat Riley throw his body fat rules out the window because did they give up a lot to get him?
Well, then they're relying on like buyout boys.
See, that's crazy.
Like Kevin Love, they gave up Precious Achiuwa to get him, who's not really turned into anything in Toronto.
Yeah.
Speaking of Toronto, I want to go down to the 7 through 10 area.
Now, I kind of like Toronto right now.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Which of these teams do you think is best poised to take a couple games off the Bucks if that were a first-round series, or is it a no competition no matter who? I think it's a no
competition no matter who, but Toronto would give them a tougher 5-game series than, say, Atlanta or Chicago. Chicago's trash.
Not since they got playoff Pat or play-in Pat.
Play-in Pat. But yeah, like Toronto would give them a tougher 5-game series than anybody else. Since they got Jacob Pertl, he's now playing at 5.
I've never heard anyone call him Jacob. Teenage Mutant Jakob Pertl.
Jakob Pertl. He's now playing at 5.
Yep.
Kind of put everybody back into their correct positions. And then shout out Fred VanVleet getting the referees fired and demoted.
Oh, yeah. Old Ben Taylor got pushed down the ladder.
Send him to the G League. Send him to the G League. You know how to do it right? Send him to the G League.
I did have a take earlier in the season. I thought Toronto looked like a sleeper to make it to the conference finals in the East. That doesn't look like it's going to come true.
That didn't age well at all.
But I do think the Raptors are going to be a dangerous team in the playoffs, and I think they match up well size-wise against a team like the Celtics. And the way the Celtics have been kind of faltering recently, although they've put it together on their last little road game, stretch, although they did beat the Kings and they didn't have Kevin Huerter, so it doesn't count really because Huerter is magical for the Kings. Kings are on a 2-game, or well, they beat the Wizards, lost the Celtics without Herter.
Okay.
So perhaps some MVP buzz for him coming later in the season.
MVP.
But anyways, I think Toronto, it's really important for Atlanta to get up to that 7th seed because I don't think they're going to do well against the Nets. I think the Nets defensively are too good for Atlanta. And then I would not take them in a game against Toronto. I think this could turn out to be a disastrous season for Atlanta if they don't win a couple more games. And they've been teetering around. I think they've been 26 straight games where they've been within one game of 500, whether 500, one game above, or one game below. They're so inconsistent.
Yeah.
They don't play too much defense. They blew a massive lead to the Spurs last weekend.
I saw that.
So if I'm Coach Quinn Snyder, I'm getting a little nervous looking at the teams surrounding us in the Eastern Conference standings.
Well, I think Quinn Snyder he wants to get to the offseason.
I don't know why he took that job, to be honest. That doesn't seem like the profile of team he would enjoy coaching.
Absolutely not. And maybe he just wanted to get back into the NBA quickly because, I don't see his personality matching well with that roster that they have. He's pretty much, hard-nosed and believes in defense. And
I have some blog boy speculation for you.
Okay, what you got?
So if Quinn Snyder is taking the Hawks job, remember the big speculation was Quinn Snyder's taking a year off. He's going to come back and he's going to take the job from Pop. So does this mean Pop is staying? Is he retiring and they have another coach in line? Was Quinn Snyder just not getting any calls? Did he get bored and decide he couldn't wait any longer? Because that's so weird the way that transpired.
I think Greg Popovich is going to be the first coach in NBA history to legit die on the NBA sideline. He's got to be 98 years old. And every time he stands up, ever so slowly, I said, man, he's going to throw his hip out, and that's going to be it. Is he 98? Somebody give me a fact check. What is he, 103?
I think he's 99, actually.
Dude, why are you still coaching?
He might get one Wembanyama. Makes it all worth it.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. See, when these guys like him, Tom Brady, and these other guys who don't want to go off into the sunset, they must hate their wife. Hate their wife, hate their kids. Period. They hate their family.
It's crazy, though, how these bad seasons the last couple of years still have not really affected Greg Popovich's winning.
How do you not go out, bro? Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, he has so much cushion that he's taken all of these terrible seasons in a row.
That is crazy.
And he's still like the highest winning percentage coach in the league.
That is
incredible.
That is incredible. Shout out to Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili.
He's had some good players along the lines.
David Robinson.
Yeah.
Right. It helps when you got 20 years of Hall of Famers.
So like I did for the West, I'm going to read out standings for the East real quick. And then straight before we move on, we have a little segment at the end or for the second half of the show where we're going to kind of say some storylines we want to keep an eye out on for the rest of the season.
Okay.
So I'm going to read these standings, and then I want you to just give me quick predictions, just from the heart. Who gets 7, who gets 8, who gets 9, who gets 10, both conferences. So I'll start with the 6th seed in the East because the first 5 are kind of solidified.
Right.
Heat 40-34, Nets 39-34, Hawks 36-37, Raptors 35-38, 10 Chicago Bulls are 34-38. Pacers technically still alive, a game and a half back, but
they're done.
Yeah,
they're done. Man, I think.
You want me to go first?
I think Toronto jumps Atlanta.
Okay.
And gets it to the 8. I think everything else stays the same. I think Brooklyn stays at 7. I think Toronto gets it all the way into the playoffs. Atlanta is out.
Okay, so you think Atlanta's hosting a game in the play-in against the Chicago Bulls, and Toronto is heading to Brooklyn, where I think they might have a bit of an advantage.
You think so?
Against Brooklyn?
Well, how are they doing the playoff series? Playoff play-in? Are they doing 7-8?
Yeah, so it's really weird. The NBA is the only league in sports that does a tournament like this, where it's 7, 8, 9, 10, not 7, 10, 8, 9.
Okay.
So 7 hosts 8. So in theory, if it started today, Atlanta would play a game in Brooklyn. If Brooklyn won, they would be the 7th seed no matter what happened the rest of the tournament.
Got you.
Bulls would be if the Raptors beat the Bulls, that game would be in Toronto. Then the Raptors and the Hawks would play in Atlanta for the 8th seed.
Okay.
It's weird. No one else does it like that.
Yeah, that's weird. Okay. All right. So let's rewind.
Recalibrate. Yeah. All good now.
Let's rewind. Okay. So we're doing regular season stuff. I believe that Atlanta will actually catch Brooklyn and surpass them. Atlanta will be the 7. Toronto will become the 8. and
Brooklyn all the way down to the
Brooklyn will
9.
drop to 9.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, Brooklyn will drop to 9.
I can't with what the stat I just shared with you how Atlanta's been one game within 500 for the last 26 straight games.
But I don't have faith in too much faith in Brooklyn.
But they already have 39 wins.
Yeah.
So they just need to win basically 3 games for the rest of the season, and they're clear of Atlanta based off of how
they're 3 games. I'm sorry. I thought they were 13 and a half, 13 and a half. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry. They're 3 games up. Oh, yeah. So 7. They'll stay at 7. Excuse me. They'll stay at 7. Toronto and Atlanta will flip.
Okay.
Yeah. And then Toronto will beat Brooklyn to take the 7. Brooklyn will drop to 8, and then Brooklyn will beat whoever wins that crap and be at the 8.
All right, very nice. So you have Bucks. I guess the first part doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But you have the Raptors as the 7 and the Nets as the 8 going into the playoffs.
Yep, that's it.
And then for the West.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I thought that said 13 and a half.
No, you're good. It's small font.
It is small font. You know, I'm getting old, man.
So for the West, start with the 4.
Oh, God.
Phoenix Suns 38 and 34.
They'll hold.
LA Clippers 39 and 35.
They'll drop.
Warriors 38 and 36.
They'll go up
to the 5 seed.
To the 5.
Timberwolves 500 37 and 37. Mavericks 36 and 37. Lakers 36 and 37. The 10 seed Pelicans 36 and 37.
This is where
it gets crazy.
Yeah.
The Thunder are 36 and 37, and the Jazz are 35 and 37.
So I think the Jazz will start tanking on purpose and get out of there.
There's no point though. They're too far clear of the Trailblazers where they're not going to really increase their lottery odds by losing the rest of the season.
Well, I know if they get into the playoffs, that doesn't happen either. So they want to be.
But if you can play more games, why not? I mean, it's not like it's going to affect them either way.
Well, no one's coming to those games.
You never know.
No one goes to Utah games.
Okay.
They're going to give those tickets away for free. Bombs on the street.
If the Jazz do make it, though, Will Hardy's going to get some serious Coach of the Year buzz. Same with Mark Daigneault of the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Now, he's doing a tremendous job in OKC.
They're a top 10 defense. Young teams like that never have good defense.
Yeah, no one picked these guys to be anywhere close to the playoff picture at all, especially after Chet Holmgren went down before the year even started. But they have legit 3 to 4 guys that can be stars in the league. Where they already have a superstar in Shea Shea.
Yep.
Josh Giddey has the making of being a star guard. Jalen Williams. Jalen Williams has all the potential to be
by way of Santa Clara, I believe, because they have 2.
Yeah, they have 2.
Yes.
Yeah, they have 2. He's the one that strong 2-way vibes.
Souped up Draymond Green.
Draymond Green that can actually play basketball.
Draymond Green that plays basketball, not football?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. New Orleans, I think they're going to drop. So I actually like OKC getting into the play-in tournament, and
that would be awesome.
New Orleans
that would be awesome television.
Yeah.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in a must-win play-in game.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's important to the Thunder as a franchise and as a team to get meaningful games because this tank was labeled by some haters as this is more shameful than the Philadelphia 76ers tank. When in reality, this has been 2 years, a quick bounce back.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, they could be playing really meaningful games.
I think they're there. And they play some meaningful basketball. New Orleans, I have no faith in them. Zion's fat. Brandon Ingram has a big toe injury. CJ isn't a true point guard. I have no faith in him. Zero faith in him.
I know some people were upset they didn't make a swing for OG Anunoby at the trade deadline.
Now that would have propelled it.
Well, if they'd been the 1 seed, I think you still go for it. But overall, they're too young to really put all their eggs into that basket this early. I think that the Lakers are a tough one for me. Also, it's hard to do this and try to be unbiased because I like the Mavericks a lot and I want them to get out of this. And I like the Thunder and I like the Jazz a lot. And I want them to both make it. But there aren't enough rooms for all of them to make it.
Not enough seats at the table.
If I could choose, even though I like Anthony Edwards, I think he deserves to play because he's played almost every game this season. I would still pick them to fall out just because I like the Thunder and the Jazz. But
you know what? Minnesota has won a lot without Big Cat. And we saw what they looked like with Cat and Gobert playing side by side. It was not good. I like them to fall.
Really? All the way out?
I like them to drop. And we talking about all the way out. It's like 2 games. That's you lose 2 in a row.
One good half of a week.
Right.
Make or break.
It's
one possession where you line up at the wrong side of the court. Kevon Looney gets a wide open dunk. Could make or break a season.
Oh, my goodness. That was crazy.
That was crazy.
How much of that is on the officials? How much of that is on Dallas? I'm glad you brought that up.
Okay, so that's an interesting question. So the official.
Have you seen the still shot?
I've seen it. So
okay.
we don't make money from this, unfortunately. Not yet. So I can show this clip and we won't get like fined or anything.
Correct.
So the referee, well, I guess I don't need to describe it because in theory you guys will be watching it as I'm saying this. I think it's partially on the ref, but mostly on the Mavericks. Because Stretch, you've coached youth teams before. You've coached young kids. When you're coaching men, though, or high school players, do you have to remind them, hey, you're on that basket this half, guys? I don't think so.
No.
So I think it's the Mavericks' fault. That's something you would tell your little kids. Hey, guys, inbounds the ball at that basket.
Way,
like, there's not a single Mavericks player lined up to throw an inbounds pass or lined up to take a pass to – like
and that's
from the inbound.
That is the problem. Like complete professionals. Just all 5 of them.
Yeah.
We're on the other end.
And then Jason Kidd, none of the coaching staff, they have like 25 assistants back there on their iPads. No one can say, all of the Warriors are over there, guys.
We're supposed to be down here. And here's the thing. So Mark Cuban was saying how the announcer said it was Maverick ball. Okay, cool. Even if it was Maverick ball, why were all 5 of you down there? Who's going to take the ball out?
I do think, though, if the PA announcer clearly said it's Mavericks ball, then it's on the refs for not communicating it properly. Still, you should at least have Mavericks lined up to take the ball in.
To take the ball out. And then if you at least have someone ready to take the ball out, you get up there like, it's all ball. And you're like, no, it's volleyball. Hey, ho.
Right.
That's on Mavericks. That is on the Mavericks.
I did listen to one analyst who was saying Jordan Poole was maybe distracting the referee there, having a little conversation. So maybe the ref was talking to Jordan Poole so he couldn't talk to the Mavericks.
But I also don't know that all 3 referees knew what was going on because in the picture you see, you got one referee on the baseline, one referee on the sideline where he's supposed to be. Where's that 3rd ref at?
Right. Well, one of them was down with the Mavericks. He was chilling with the Mavs.
Chilling with the Mavs. Like, what are you doing?
Crazy situation. Too much ref talk recently. The refs have been going through it. People are starting to call them out a little bit.
Don't get me started on referees.
Okay, so in an effort to not get Stretch started on referees, we're going to move on to our next topic. End of the season storylines. I prepared a couple.
Okay.
Stretch, do you have any you want to talk about, or do you want me to get us started?
Let's get us started, baby.
All right. Which of these do you find to be – yeah, we already talked about the end of season storylines with the injuries. So I'm going to move on to my next one then.
All right.
We talked about a little Jalen Williams there. How close – this is one storyline I'm looking forward to. How close can the Rookie of the Year race really get? Because Paolo Banchero seemed to have it locked away after about January, had a really bad month of February, and at the same time, Jalen Williams started playing more minutes and started producing, and Walker Kessler started playing more minutes and started producing. So I have the stats in front of me. If you look at them just on the umbrella, all of the stats combined, you're saying Paolo still got the best stats. 27-4. I'm going to round up a little bit.
How much do you value winning?
And Rookie of the Year, not really at all.
Paolo.
Okay. I think Paolo still wins it, but I don't think it's going to be as comfortably as
Right. It's not going to be a landslide or
Walker Kessler. Jazz are 18-16 when he starts. Same with Jalen Williams. Thunder 2 games over 500 when he starts. And the March numbers for Jalen Williams: 19, 6-5, 56, 48, 84. Numbers are pretty similar in February. Walker Kessler's defended the 2nd most shots in the entire league, which is crazy considering he wasn't even playing much at the beginning of the season.
Very true.
He's already maybe a better Rudy Gobert, or will be in the very near future.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely.
The way he defends shots at his age is just completely uncanny. And he's 50% for 3, 1 for 2.
Shout out to the Jazz for making that move, though.
Yeah, huge move. And shout out to Will Hardy for putting so much faith in these young players.
Absolutely.
Whether it be Kessler, Larry Markkinen, they're signing random guys like Chris Dunn and telling them go out there and play. OJ Abaji from Kansas last year.
Go play hard, man.
Go play hard, and we're going to trust
hard.
you.
Yeah.
And Taylor Horton Tucker, 45-year-old man out there.
THT couldn't get them to play like that in LA.
maybe if you had, you would have Kyle Lowry now instead.
Oh God.
But anyway,
a fat boy.
Like you said, I think Banchero. Are you talking about Lowry or Zion?
They're both fat.
But like you said,
fat professionals. There's nothing worse.
I think Banchero still takes Rookie of the Year. 67 games started. Jalen Williams has only started 54. Walker's only started in half of his games.
Yeah.
But there have been a lot more buzz about it recently. Do you think? Now I don't know what the traditional voting split would be. Like, I don't know how many times. I don't think a rookie has ever won unanimously. Maybe once or twice. But
No,
what
yeah, maybe
percentage
once
of
or
votes
twice.
would you think Paolo would get compared to what you would have thought maybe in January or before the All Star break
I think it gets about 60%,
versus how locked up do you think he had it before?
90%.
Okay. And then how do you think Williams and Walker Kessler split it? Or do you think I'm leaving anyone out? Be it a Keegan Murray, a Jaden Ivey,
No,
Benedict Mathurin, who had a
no,
lot of buzz at the beginning of the season?
God, no. Yeah, these are the other two guys. They probably split it. Jalen probably get 20. Yeah, they probably split the last 40%.
About 50-50, you
Yeah,
think?
yeah. They'll split the last 40%.
Okay. And then the other storyline I have my eye on, going to more awards.
Mm,
And no MVP talk, not for me at
mm.
least. Maybe if you want to interject and bring something up, I'll chime in and give my
You got
opinion.
Joel MVP?
I think it's going to be close.
It will be
And
close.
I'm going to give it until the last day of the regular season. Until
they play each other like next week or something like that, don't they?
Yep. It's Monday.
Yeah.
March 24th.
And unfortunately, I think a lot of voters are going to weigh that game extremely heavily.
I think so too.
On who wins it.
Jokic needs a really big. I think it's less important that Embiid has a big game because he had the dominant game earlier in the season.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is with Jokic, and why I think that way of voting or measuring games really affects him more than Embiid, is Jokic doesn't seem like the type of guy. Like, he's obviously a tough guy,
right?
But I don't think he's like, I'm going to go out and I'm going to kill Joel Embiid tonight.
Right,
he's more of a, let me get Jamal Murray his shots.
Right,
Michael Porter Jr.'s open in the corner.
Right.
Whereas Joel Embiid, because he hasn't won the MVPs, because he doesn't have quite the playoff success as Jokic, this is his championship.
He's playing hard.
Yeah. And Jokic, of course, is playing hard, but he's made the conference finals. He's got 2 MVPs.
Yeah, he's playing with a little bit more.
He understands more the value of getting everybody involved because he's had to suffer without them.
Right.
Embiid hasn't really had to do that.
Well, his supporting cast hasn't been great either.
Tyrese Maxey, James Harden.
Yeah, I mean, I get it.
Tobias Harris.
Yeah, I mean, now James Harden's playing great this year. Tyrese Maxey had a great start to the year. Now, since coming back off the injuries, now more of a 6-man role. Tobias Harris has been stealing money from the Philadelphia 76ers for the past 4 or 5 years.
But he scores and he defends. Better than he used to, at least on defense.
Well, yeah, this year. Yeah, but he's stealing money. He's a thief. PJ Tucker is out there for cardio. Literally just runs up and down the floor.
But he defends. He still defends at a high level. He always will. He's a tough guy. I mean, he changed the whole structure of the Heat series last year against Philadelphia.
He did.
Because he was the one that was willing to go out and get loose balls.
No, it pays to have someone that's in shape on your team.
Yeah.
Yeah, it pays. Someone that's willing to go out there and run 3 miles and
run hard, go through screens.
Yeah, Ironman competition, whatever.
Right.
Yeah, decathlons, whatever. That's who PJ Tucker is. Just one that goes out there and does a decathlon.
And occasionally he'll hit an open corner 3.
That's it.
So that actually brings me to another point. This is kind of off topic. I mean, it's on topic in that this is an NBA show, but it's off topic in what I was going to discuss. So we talk about PJ Tucker, and I mentioned occasionally hitting an open corner 3. But I think of PJ Tucker, I think of someone that could really swing the pendulum for a championship.
Okay.
If he's hitting his open 3s in the corner, and you already know the production you're getting from the other 4 starters, be it Maxey, Harden, Embiid, and Tobias, plus Anthony Melton off the bench, we're talking about a team that could make some real noise. So I'm curious, what players, maybe in that same sort of PJ Tucker space, meaning like not superstars, are players that you're looking at going into the postseason that could really swing the pendulum for a championship contender?
Man,
I think Michael Porter Jr. is a huge one.
He is. Michael Porter Jr. is a huge one. Was it a Josh Okogie?
I was thinking of Josh Okogie. Yep.
Yeah, he's
Phoenix Suns. Probably the 5th starter for Phoenix come playoff time.
What he gives them on a nightly basis is going to be so valuable for them when Kevin Durant comes back. I hate to put him in this role, but unfortunately, that's what he is now. Russell Westbrook. Like, that's what he is now. So his value, especially now with Paulina down, he has to step up. And he can't be the guy that kills them anymore. Like he's predominantly been known since he's not superstar Russ anymore. Is he going to kill us?
Right.
So it's time for him to start killing other teams instead of killing.
Does he still have that capability to win a quarter a game for a team during a series?
I think he does.
He's got to prove that this playoffs.
He has to prove it, but I think he does. I also like what Coach Lue has been doing with him. He's turned him into a ball screener. He's also turned him into an offensive rebounder and a cutter. Like your man leaves you to double or come sit in the help, you cut.
Yeah.
Shot goes up, you crash. Like, and when we set screens, instead of the big man coming to do it, you're going to do it to make you, someone got to guard you.
Right. Yeah, I think he's a big one. Like you mentioned, Josh Okogie being that fifth starter for Sacramento. For Phoenix could really make a big difference because he's also going to have to be their best perimeter defender in most series. I think Michael Porter Jr. is the biggest one because if he's averaging 20 points a night in the playoffs,
that makes Denver almost unbeatable.
I think so too. And when he started playing well in the 3-1 series against the Clippers, they won.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's their best player. He's definitely not their most valuable or anything like that. But because he's so hit or miss, if he's hitting consistently in the playoffs,
that makes him almost unbeatable.
Having a third 20-point per game scorer there.
And someone that's 6'10", 6'11".
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think other X factors, I'm going to look at Isaac Okoro, big one, I think, for the Cavaliers. He could be the difference between them maybe. I don't think any team in the 4 spot's going to have a chance to upset the Bucks, but he could be the difference between them getting out of the 4-5 or not because his 3-point shooting, they need him out there for defense, but the 3-point shooting can play him off the court if teams are letting him go.
I agree.
So if he can hit a couple, just a lot of these 3-and-D guys, they need to hit the three.
Those are the guys, the 3-and-D guys. You look at Milwaukee, I don't know where they're going to get out of Chris Middleton, but we talking about those unsung heroes, Grayson Allen, Pat Connaughton,
Joe Ingles,
Joe Ingles, like those.
Can a Jay Crowder give you some playoff?
Correct, like those guys, man. Like they got to be there. They got to be there. So I agree with you. Those 3-and-D guys, man, they got to show up.
Yeah. So moving on to my final big storyline for the season.
All right.
I'm excited to get your take on this because I was thinking about this earlier.
Oh.
I think these last 10 games, are going to be very important for guards jockeying for all NBA position. I have written down here. I'm going to just ballpark it. Maybe 12 names of guys that I think are all NBA performers. I'm going to read them to you.
Six slots.
Luka, Steph, Drew Holiday, Jalen Brunson, De'Aaron Fox, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Damian Lillard, Donovan Mitchell, Jaylen Brown, James Harden, Devin Booker, John Morant, Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards, maybe not so much as the other guys, but I wanted to reward him because of games played.
See, and that is where I'm glad the NBA is moving forward, is going to start putting game played requirements on these awards.
Right.
Because, not only is it important to the NBA to have guys actually suit up and play, but we talking about contract implications here.
Yeah.
You start talking about people with money, man. Like, some of these guys, have legitimate injuries. Like Steph Curry had legitimate injuries. But some of these guys have not had legitimate injuries, or they milked the recovery process a little bit too long.
Like when Damian Lillard needed to rest because he was on the plane for too long.
Correct.
And he made his rap song.
Come on, man. That's ridiculous. You see what I'm saying? Stuff like that.
Right.
Like, that is ridiculous. So I'm with you. I want to reward guys like Anthony Edwards. I want to reward guys like Jaylen Brown. Like, these guys predominantly going out there, De'Aaron Fox going out there and playing as much as they can every night.
Right.
Donovan Mitchell, he's another one, going out there, suiting up and playing. And, it's unfair to a guy like Steph Curry, but, I'm inclined to leave him off for the All-NBA
All
team.
3 of them.
I'm inclined to, or he'll be the third guy.
Well, that's why these last 10 games are so important, because Steph Curry and the Warriors, they've played 74 games so far. If they go 5-3, well, I guess that only puts you that puts you a couple games over 500. That maybe moves you into a 4 seed. All of a sudden, he's probably first team All NBA, almost unanimously.
See, that's what I'm saying.
I think the one lock, first team All NBA at the guard position, is Luka. Even if the Mavericks fall out.
What if they don't make the playoffs?
But here's what I'm saying. He's got the most gaudy numbers out of anybody on this list.
I agree.
33, 9, and 8, 50%, 35, 73. They're 31 and 27 with him. That's on pace for the 3 seed.
I agree.
If he plays every game.
I agree.
So you're looking at that. He's played 58 games.
But what if they don't make the playoffs?
But then that's where it gets difficult. But that's why it's so important.
How can we give a guy first team All NBA and they don't make the playoffs?
My thinking when I was thinking about this. So the numbers alone, but you think of the first couple months of the season. He was on that Wilt-like run where it was 30 points to start every single game of the season. He had that
Here's a question for you.
Okay.
Has that even happened before?
Only will.
No, I'm talking
Oh.
about to make all NBA, like first team all NBA, and your team don't make the playoffs.
I didn't look that up.
We
I
need to
don't
look
know.
that up. I need some answers.
Stretch and I just researched it. It appears no one has ever made All NBA
Yeah,
and missed the
and
playoffs.
missed the playoffs.
Does play-in count? What if he's the 10 seed?
Ooh, I don't know, man.
Because in a traditional season, that's missing the playoffs.
That is missing the playoffs.
But now he's
But
giving himself
now
a
that
single.
is considered to be play. Is that playoff? You're a playoff team.
You're a play-in team at the very least.
Okay, so if they fall to the 10 and he,
I also don't think they fall that low. I
don't think they fall that low either, but they could.
And they have, I think, the third easiest schedule remaining. They got a
Right.
couple games. They got a game against the Pacers, a game against the Bulls, a
Yeah.
couple against the Hornets.
Yeah.
So we're talking 4
Kyrie got to
easy
get
wins.
back though.
Yeah. Well, does he? I mean, we've seen that with Luka, they can be pretty powerful.
Yeah, but that was with other pieces.
Right.
Now those pieces
I agree.
are gone.
Need Kyrie back to really propel them into the playoffs. But I think Luka's probably a lock for first team, I would say.
Okay.
He's my closest thing to a lock. And then it gets really difficult. Donovan Mitchell's been the best guard in the East all season long, I think. But you look at the numbers and you say Shea has been better and his team is destroying all expectations.
I think Shea gets a third.
De'Aaron Fox has the Kings in the playoffs for the first time.
He's a second.
Basically in my lifetime.
He's a second.
Damian Lillard is going supernova this season, but he's only at 58 games played.
Maybe that's your other third team guard.
So who do you have as the other first team guard?
Man, listen.
Booker hasn't played enough games.
Booker hasn't played enough games. I think you either give it to Ja Morant or Steph Curry.
Okay, but Ja's played even less games than Dame.
But Dame, they're nowhere near the playoffs.
Fair. Ja 27, 6 and 8, 35 and 19 with him. He was the other name I was considering. But then you look at those numbers and you say Shea has been better. Again, I'm coming back to Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. Is he already first team All NBA? Does he make the leap from no team All NBA to first team All NBA?
No.
Or if you look at Basketball Reference, the two top guards in the MVP tracker are Luka and James Harden.
Yeah.
Is it James Harden? Does he somehow sneak onto a first team All NBA roster because the 76ers maybe wind up in the 2 seed? So there's so many things, so many different scenarios.
So if that happens, let's say James Harden gets up there. So now you got Luka and James as your guards for All NBA. Where does Steph Curry go?
Probably second team.
Okay, so if he's second team with De'Aaron Fox, because he's in the playoffs. De'Aaron Fox, man, you can't leave him off a team.
Do you think that voters will say, okay, we can't overload it on the West. You're choosing between De'Aaron Fox and Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, and they're going to split votes? Because I could see that happening. They're kind of similar players, similar teams, similar numbers, clutch, destroying expectations.
But Shea may not even make the playoffs.
And then what about Jaylen Brown?
See, that's what I'm saying, man.
So that's why this last 10-game stretch could make or break some players' All-NBA nods. Jalen Brunson.
One of these superstars is not going to make an All-NBA.
I mean, Kevin Garnett the other day was saying that Drew Holiday is the best player on the Bucks this season. You're telling me the best player on the best team in the league isn't an All-NBA performer? That's crazy.
That is crazy.
But the guard play in the league is just so elite right now.
I agree. Now, Drew Holiday deserves to be on an All-NBA team.
All of these guys.
No, not all of them.
Devin Booker doesn't.
Devin Booker doesn't.
He's a stretch. I just put him on there because everyone knows Devin Booker.
I get it. Start name recognition.
Yeah.
Look, I'm talking about. Look at these, like Jalen Brunson, man. Jalen Brunson deserves to be on the team, but unfortunately, he won't make it. Shea should be up there. Shea should be up there. I don't think Steph Curry has played enough games. I don't think. I don't think Ant-Man gets it. James Harden deserves to be up there.
The other thing that hurts Steph Curry is they're only 500 when he plays. So you can't use the argument that I used with Luka.
Right.
Which is they're a lot better when he's
Luka deserves to be up there. Okay, so Luka is the NBA's best guard right now.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so lock him in at first team. Beautiful. I'm okay with that. He can make history for the wrong reason, this year.
Right.
But he's the NBA's best guard. So let's lock him in.
And the other thing with him, he's made it 2 straight seasons, so it might be like the Jokic thing where someone has to knock him off.
I agree. Donovan Mitchell has been the best guard in the East.
First time making the playoffs for the Cavs since pre-LeBron era.
Yep. So second team.
I'm comfortable with that.
Okay. Drew Holiday. They're the number one team in the league, well, in the East anyway.
But will voters say if maybe we give that Brooke Lopez first team defense or defensive player of the year? We give Giannis first team All
First team
NBA.
All NBA.
We can leave Drew off. He's the one that gets.
He's the one that gets screwed.
Yeah, we reward $2. Drew Holiday's out of
Well,
here.
he'll probably be first team All Defense too, though.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't know if they'll give $3 first team All Defense because you'd assume Giannis will be there.
Yeah.
Or will he? Because Jaren Jackson Jr. probably gets the first team nod at the forward spot.
Yeah.
So it's tough. So we got Luka at the one.
This is a good topic here.
This
is a really good topic. It makes you think. Like, I think Dame gets left off. They don't make the playoffs. Dame gets left off.
This would be another thing that's interesting to research. How many players have averaged 30 plus and not made it? I'd assume maybe a lot. But there also probably haven't been a lot of players who've averaged 30 plus.
Correct.
And it's not just a smooth 30.001.
Right, he's averaging 32.
Or a 29.8. It's a 32.
He's a 32 guy.
And the games, just watching him play, he's a top 15 player in the league.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. How much do you weigh winning?
You're right. That's going to be the interesting thing in a lot of these, how these
I don't think he gets.
out.
I don't think he gets a seat at all, a seat at the table. I don't think he gets it. I think James Harden gets it. I don't know about Jaylen Brown either.
Really?
I want to put him up there. He deserves it. But I don't know. John Morant's he's going to be there. De'Aaron Fox has to be there. Shea has to be there. Donovan Mitchell has to be there. Luka has to be there. Now the rest of it.
How do you leave a prime Steph Curry off of an All NBA team?
That's what I'm saying. He ain't played enough. Okay, so off brand name recognition alone, he gets it done. Okay, so Luka, Steph, John Morant, locks. Those are locks.
Yes,
those are locks. So that's 3, and you only have 6 slots.
Right.
Who gets the other 3?
I think I'm giving the axe to Drew. Same with Jalen Brunson.
Okay. De'Aaron Fox and Shea.
I feel like only one of them will make it though. I think that's the combination where someone's going to say, "All right, leave that guy off." They're similar players. They're both young. We're taking one or the other.
Okay.
So do they split votes? And because they split votes,
neither one
does someone slide in between? And neither of them make it. It's crazy.
That is crazy.
I think Shea is going to.
I think De'Aaron Fox. They're the 3 seed in the West.
I think Shea is more likely to make it over De'Aaron though, because I think Domantas Sabonis is going to be 3rd-team All NBA center for sure.
Really?
Easily over Bam, who would be the only other player I'd have really in contention for that spot.
So your centers are Joel, Jokic, and Sabonis?
Yeah. Definitely. Sabonis is putting up like Wilt numbers basically this season as far as a center, putting up triple doubles and the amount of rebounds he grabs.
Okay.
And he's the focal point of their offense. Although I think De'Aaron Fox is maybe the better player.
No,
everything runs through the
Sabonis.
handoff.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to make Kevin Huerter a very rich man.
Absolutely.
The way he's able to get him open off of pin downs.
Absolutely.
Dribble handoffs, things of that nature.
No AD?
No AD. He doesn't deserve it. He hasn't played enough games.
Okay. I'm okay with that.
So it gets
so De'Aaron gets left off.
I think De'Aaron gets left off in favor for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Okay, so Shea is up there. That's 4. Then who gets the last 2?
I think Donovan Mitchell has to make it.
Okay, so you got 1 left.
And now I'm looking between
James Harden,
Jalen Brown,
and
I feel like Dame has to be let off.
Okay,
even though the numbers are pretty gaudy, 32, 5, and 7.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe his most efficient season ever. I think the one that's got to make it has to be Jaylen Brown. But I think James Harden is having the better season slightly.
I'm going James.
Okay.
Leads the NBA in assists. They'll probably get the 2 seed. Even though they're 3rd now.
Right. They're
with a half game back.
1 in the win column. So a win in the next game ties them up.
Yeah, ties them up. And they have the tiebreaker, correct?
I believe so.
Yeah, they have the tiebreaker. They get the 2 seed. I think they get 2 players.
And then if they get 2 players, how is Joel Embiid? Does Joel Embiid Does that hurt his MVP case? Because Jokic won't have
Now,
any,
that's the other
and
side
because
of that
Giannis
thing.
won't have any
That
All
is the
NBA
other
teammates.
thing.
Probably.
That is the other thing. This is a great topic, man.
A great topic.
This is a great topic, man.
This could have been the whole episode.
Man, this is a great topic, man. Okay, so if you give it to Jaylen Brown, you leave off James Harden. Joel's the MVP.
I don't think it's going to be contingent on that. Not in my eyes, at least. And some voters it may be. Because Jokic definitely isn't going to have any All NBA teammates.
He doesn't have any.
And we might not have any for Giannis either. But Jokic's are the furthest on the outside, to be fair.
Okay. I'm with you on that.
So does that give him any sort of advantage? The MVP race, like I said earlier, it's going to come down to the 82nd game of the season.
I agree with that. Overall, has this been a great NBA season?
Too many Kevin Durant injuries, but otherwise it's been pretty enjoyable. Kawhi's back. I mean, recently he's been
balling.
He's been balling.
Clippers
were looking like they were poised to make a push.
I didn't understand why they made the Russell Westbrook trade. And I hate to take a tangent, but they had put playoff P at the point.
Mm-hmm.
Terrence Mann, who was in there solely to defend the point guard position.
Right.
They won 7 in a row. And then you make a trade to bring in Russell Westbrook for what?
He likes Los Angeles. I don't know. He likes Los Angeles. They
thought. And then apparently Paul George was advocating for this Joker. Like Paul, I don't understand. I don't understand.
I think people still say that Westbrook has the ability to win you a game in the playoffs. I think he still does. He still has the ability to win you a quarter in the playoffs.
A quarter.
At least you have him as an option, I guess, would be one way to look at it. At least Ty Lue has the option to say, I want to or I don't want to put in Russell Westbrook.
The last time he was in the playoffs, people defended him.
The Lakers defended him. And then they decided that he was the antidote for their playoff struggles.
I don't get it.
Well, actually, he made it with the Wizards the following. He feels like a lost year, that Wizards season.
Yeah.
When he started putting up those historic numbers.
He did. I don't get it. I don't know, man.
So do you have any storylines you want to hit on or any last topics you want to bring up?
Will Mr. Ham keep his job?
Yeah. I don't see why you wouldn't.
You don't think so?
No, the Lakers will probably want to run it back next year, assuming they can re-sign D'Angelo Russell.
Mm-hmm.
I think you give them the chance with the new roster because they've been pretty good since they've been together.
They're going to the luxury tax to keep Reeves and all those guys?
Got to keep Reeves, I think. Got to keep the future intact a little bit.
Mm.
So I think they hold on to him, keep him one more year. I hope Jason Kidd doesn't survive the season. I think he's a terrible coach.
What did he do? That's been terrible.
He just watches.
That roster is limited.
It is very limited.
That roster is limited. It's not a whole lot he could do.
But here's my thing with Jason Kidd. Well, this isn't only my thing. You look at any Mavericks blog or Twitter space, and you'll find the exact same thing.
Okay.
Why is it okay that Luka and Kyrie are not very good at defense, but he draws the line at Christian Wood? If they're going to just try to outscore teams, then wouldn't you want the center out there that's the best at scoring? Christian Wood will be a mismatch nightmare for most teams because he can bring it out to the three.
I said the same thing about that.
But they refuse to play him in favor of Dwight Powell. Dwight Powell is garbage.
I think, the same thing that was going on with the Lakers former coach, where the powers that be that were above him were making him play Avery Bradley.
Right.
And Avery Bradley was like, what are you doing? I think the same thing is going on in Dallas. I think Mark Cuban or whoever's ahead of Jason Kidd is making him play these guys. Like, they're their guys. Dwight Powell's their guy. Maxi Kleber is their guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, because otherwise it doesn't make sense. Like, you got to,
especially because Christian Wood is on a contract season. And they didn't trade him or try to extend him or anything.
Correct. Christian Wood is actually with who they need in there, along with, call me crazy, JaVale McGee. If you want somebody that's going to,
JaVale McGee is a cone on defense. And he's not giving you anything on offense, really.
He can run. He's athletic, and he's going to attempt to block every shot.
Yeah, he's going to goaltend every shot.
Whatever.
I would rather have Dwight Powell out there, honestly.
No way. Dwight Powell is a liability.
I don't think Dwight Powell is very good. I think he's he's pretty garbage, actually.
He's
I would
horrible.
argue he's one of the worst starting centers in the NBA.
That guy's horrible.
But JaVale McGee could not play, especially earlier in the season. He was garbage.
8 minutes. Give him 8 minutes.
You might give up 30 points in those 8
No
minutes.
way.
30 paint points.
No way.
I guess it can't get much worse, though.
Right. Like, if this is what you're looking for, like, just defend the rim.
They just need I wish they could have gotten a Rudy Gobert type center in the offseason, something like that. I thought
that's what they were going to do.
I think that opens up the Mavericks way more than Kyrie Irving does. I don't think Luka needs a Kyrie Irving. I think he needs a good center, and he'll be all right.
He needs a good center, and he needs some more 3-and-D guys.
If only I mean, maybe Porzingis isn't the right fit. I think Luka could use a more of a P&R type player that can roll to the basket and get alley-oops.
He needs Anthony Davis.
But imagine if they just waited out Porzingis. How good he looks right now in Washington with a beard now.
I agree.
That would have been special. Keep Dorian Finney-Smith alongside there.
Yeah.
Tim Hardaway Jr.
Yeah.
Although guys like Dorian Finney-Smith, we're seeing the value of Luka playmaking because his 3-point percentage is tanked ever since he went to Brooklyn.
Man.
Not the same without those.
Yeah, man. Those wide open threes.
Yeah, they're different in Dallas.
Yeah,
I mean, we got Reggie Bullock looking like a good NBA player in Dallas.
Oh, man. Reggie Bullock was trash, but he looks great in Dallas.
Speaking of trash, you know who you reminded me of today, Stretch, is Dylan Brooks. You're a big Grizzlies hater. I'm curious your opinion on Dylan Brooks.
I'm not a Grizzlies hater. I just don't like their personnel because their personnel is just so extra. And Dylan Brooks is on record as saying he wants to be like Draymond Green.
Right. Then when he was in college, he said that.
Correct. Then goes on and says he hates Draymond Green. I don't understand. Maybe he got to know him and didn't like us, in real life. I don't know. But the stuff
Draymond probably wouldn't shut up about LeBron.
Probably. But the stuff that he does is very Draymond Green-esque. That's what he's an enforcer. He plays great perimeter defense. He thinks he's better than what he is offensively, but every player is supposed to be confident, I guess.
Right.
But he's their heartbeat. He is their heartbeat. And a lot of people saying they need to get rid of Dylan Brooks. Well, you get rid of Dylan Brooks, Grizzlies aren't good.
Yeah.
He's their heartbeat. He's the reason that they give him that false bravado. It's because of Dylan Brooks.
He's he's the enforcer.
Yeah, he's the enforcer. He does everything for it. He does the dirty work, talks all the trash.
Would he talk all the trash if we didn't have a big man Steven Adams to back him up?
Absolutely. It makes talking trash a lot easier.
Exactly.
I'll get Steve. What you say? I'll get Steve.
I'm curious because this was a while ago, so hopefully the fans still remember this. Are we taking Steven Adams in a fight over Shannon Sharp?
I love Shannon Sharp to death. Steven Adams is 7 foot tall, 260 pounds.
Steven Adams boxes out cows for fun in the summers.
Yeah. And I don't know if you heard this or not, but Steven Adams is the runt of his family.
Right.
So he's basically had to fight for everything his whole life. I'm taking Steven Adams.
I think so too. Shannon Sharp might be able to bench Steven Adams, but I'm still taking Steven Adams.
I'm taking Steve.
So I think we'll call it there. This has been a long episode. It's been a lot of fun though.
A lot of fun.
Great episode. Stretch said if we get 5 million views, he'll be on the Debate Mates permanently. Only 5 million a year.
That's it. Only 5 million.
Watch.
Only 5 million.
But Debate Mates is worldwide. We get that. We'll get that easily, I think.
Worldwide. Well, so I'll be back.
So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And be sure to check in soon for some playoff updates.
Absolutely.
Some play-in updates. Some regular season awards updates.
Absolutely.
And